have brought to us. Thank you very much indeed.
Hendry.
Thank you. All right, so we now come to our last submission of the afternoon. Juliette Hendry, representing Generation Zero. So, Juliette, good to have you with us. Last but not least, thank you very much indeed. And you've got 5 minutes to present to us, and this is on the climate change strategy. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou, ko Jules tauku ingoa, no na mutu ahau ki Generation Zero ahau ahi ana, tēnā koutou katoa. We would like to again thank you for giving us this space to speak on a carefully laid out program with some amazing values. What particular values we want to highlight are those of leadership and innovation, and therefore we implore the Council to set more quantifiable targets in regards to this plan, to especially commit to opportunities such as afforestation and optimise the use of public transport. We know that the minds and efforts behind this plan are coming from a place of aroha, and therefore we ask them to consider more holistic approaches to climate issues, such as considering how their urban planning affects the public transport use. The use of brownfield development and medium density housing can improve the energy of communities and allow easier access to multimodal carbon conscious and carbon conscious transport methods. Living closer to work and having less travel time is in fact identified by the wider Aotearoa community as some really high importance ideas in the recent public consultation undertaken by the New Zealand Infrastructure Commission. We also ask that you set an emissions reductions target of at least 20% to fall in line with the current recommendations for the draft strategy of the Climate Change Commission, and encourage you to pursue bolder first steps overall. This will require you to work more collaboratively with civil society and with other public sector organisations, as outlined as being one of the most important moves forward for local government in the climate change strategy webinar provided for staff several years ago. This is to everyone's benefit, and it enables you to understand more easily the issues of your community, and it also allows them to understand the processes that you yourselves are limited to as a council. Processes such as this one now allow us to appreciate your hard mahi behind these decisions and provide us closer access in a system which ironically usually feels one way for both parties. Ngā mihi nui ki a koe, questions or comments are much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Questions? Aaron.
Thanks, Juliette. Just on some of the submissions we've had, because we get lots of varying ones. Were you in the room 10 minutes ago when we had the one on the reforestation and using exotics versus the push for natives? Like, when you hear stuff like that, do you guys have positions on some of those?
I wouldn't be confident in speaking on our position as Generation Zero on those kinds of topics.
Do you think Gen Zero should be getting informed on those various things that keep getting put forward so you have a position?
Oh, absolutely, and I'm sure Generation Zero does have a position. I'm just unaware of... my brain would not... I'm not good at public speaking normally, is what my brain is trying to say. And as far as using native trees, as I'm aware personally, it's more of a restoration of appreciating the way fauna works in New Zealand with the fauna that was designed to be there. So I feel like it's more of a deeper issue than simply around the carbon costs of things.
Because one of the clear things from the submissions on the climate change is there's a lot of different ways that people are suggesting on how we get there.
Yeah.
A lot of different ways. So it'd be good to, if you guys keep feeding that stuff back in on when stuff comes up, you go, yeah, here's our position, even if it's just the emails that you send around at various times.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anne.
Thanks, Juliette. You're a very good public speaker.
Thank you.
I'm just interested in your comment about it feels like one-way traffic. You know, you were saying that probably it feels like that from our point of view as well as... have you got any thoughts about how we can make that better in terms of...
So one of, and I was actually, Councillor Southworth and she just used this term as well, talking about something else in terms of the legislation is not catching up with the current zeitgeist of society right now. So the local governments and central governments are all being like, please interact with us, making all these really cool, ways of getting engaged, like the bubble tool, which was fantastic. But in terms of the actual heaviness of the content, it is quite inaccessible. And the other thing that I hear a lot from the community and feel this also is that unless you take opportunities like this where we talk face to face, quite often when you do public consultation as a member of the public, you don't really hear back other than just an acknowledgement of your submission, and that's about it. And the other issue as well is that when there comes to like smaller little things such as the suggestion before, it sometimes is quite difficult to understand how to kind of communicate with you as councillors on things like small suggestions or small ideas until opportunities such as a 400-page LTP come up.
Right, that's a very good answer. Can I just another quick question? What would be useful feedback? From you being here, what would you like to have come back to you?
Probably some kind of acknowledgement on why the points that were made in the submission weren't considered, and a kind of a background behind that. As an organisation, obviously there's a lot of expertise as to why you guys do choose that, but for individuals of the community, I understand that they perhaps don't have that advantage.
So thank you very much for taking the opportunity to come along and speak with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
And for answers to questions as well. Thanks very much indeed. Good to have you with us. Thank you. So that now brings us